Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this afternoon for the next album review, and this is another album I got a chance to listen to just recently. Just finished up on it just now for Jinjer's new record, Duel, that I got a chance to listen to for their fifth studio album. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this 11-track record, which is around time of 42 plus minutes or something like that. Um, and let you know my thoughts on this record overall. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with Tantrum, and off the bat, Tatiana's regular vocals in this are pretty solid. I mean, they're not terrible, but they have some moments where it's a little bit of a cringe effect on me, but it's not terrible. Just has a little bit of needs. It's just solid, basically. That's the basic premise of what I'm trying to get at with what I thought of Tantrum. Tantrum is a pretty good song in its own way. It does play it a little safe with how it's sounding, and the scream vocals from Tatiana are pretty strong. So 4.75 out of 5. 4.75 out of 5 is what I meant to say. I said it weirdly, so please forgive my mispronunciation of the number. So, Hedonist is a pretty good song in its own way. Plays it safe too. Just Tatiana's regular vocals, they sound alright, but it's not really tweaking to my liking in the best way possible, but it sounds okay for what it is. It's still a pretty good song with the instrumentation sounding pretty good. So I'd give this a 4.75 out of 5. Rogue was one of the singles for the record. I think it was the second single for this record. And it's a pretty strong song. I really like this one. I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Still a banger of a track that came out in October of 2024 and was well worth listening to. So, really dug this track. 5 out of 5. Tumbleweed is a pretty good song. It does play it safe with Tatiana's clean vocals. It's not terrible, but it's just there's some moments where it's good and moments where it's not. But execution-wise, when the verses come in, it's hit or miss. But the chorus, when it comes in, it sounds alright. So 4.75 out of 5. Green Serpent is a pretty good song in its own way. Not really one of my favorite songs, but still pretty good for how it sounds. So 4.75 out of 5 for this one, too. I do like Tatiana's regular vocals, but it just depends. There are moments where I like it and moments where I don't. But for this one, it plays it safe in its own way. So, yeah, 4.75 out of 5 for this track. Kafka is the 6th track on the record. Pretty good song in its own way, too. Don't necessarily hate it, but I don't necessarily love it. With how Tatiana's clean vocals come in through the majority of this track and sounding alright for its own way. So, another 4.75 out of 5. The melody structure is fine too. It just has its moments where it's got some quirkiness with Tatiana's regular vocals, in my honest opinion. It's not terrible, but it just sounds weird in a way. So, yeah, still pretty good track in its own way. Dark Bite is the 7th song on the record, and it's a pretty strong song, for sure. I do like Tatiana's vocals with this one, and her screaming potential is pretty good. She combines it, she does regular vocals and screaming vocals for the majority of this record, but it still sounds good in its own way, so the prog metal style is pretty much working and doing well, in my opinion, so 5 out of 5. Fast Draw is a pretty strong track. I really like the screaming potential from Tatiana in this one. Sounds really good, and it definitely worked and made it one of my favorite songs on the record. So 5 out of 5. Someone's Daughter is a pretty good song in its own way. It was one of the singles. It was the first single for this record. Before they announced this record, Rogue was the one that announced the album's name and when it's releasing. So pretty much someone's daughter is a 4.75 out of 5. Tatiana's regular vocals sound good, but not my personal cup of tea with how it's sounding overall. It has some weak moments and weak tendencies when she does her regular singing, but nothing to the point where it's terrible. Just it could be tweaked, in my opinion, but hey, it's fine for what it is. A Tongue So Shy is a pretty strong track. I really enjoyed the screaming potential, and Tatiana's regular vocals made it work through this track. So, good song. 5 out of 5 for this one. And finally, we get to Duel, which is the closing track to the record and the last single that came out for this before the album came out. I think this song came out last Friday, if I remember correctly. But from what I listened to, great epic closer to this record. And even though the intro to the record was playing it safe, it still did alright for what it was going for. So I'd give this a 5 out of 5 for Duel, the title track. It's a really strong song. I like Tatiana's screaming potential in this one. Just execution-wise, the track worked for the instrumentation. So, pretty strong track. 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think Jinjer's new record, Duel, is a pretty good record. It's about the same as the last one, Wildflowers, I believe was the last album's name, Wildflowers or something. It was something like that. That came out in August of 2021. But this one is a pretty good track, or a pretty good album, I meant to say. I don't know why I'm saying pretty good track, thinking it's a track review when it's not. But my head space is a little all distorted today, so please forgive that. Other than that, I think Jinjer Duel is a pretty good record in its own way. I wouldn't say it's going to be best album of the year, but it is going to be on the best albums of 2025, in my opinion. So if I were to give Jinjer's new record Duel a score, I think an 8.5 out of 10 is well suited for this record. It's a pretty strong record. Definitely may grow on me. Who knows? I don't know. I don't really come back to Jinjer's music all that much. It's only for the time when the singles come out, and then when the record comes out, I listen to it a few times, and then I just kind of drift away from it. It comes and goes, basically. It's a come and go record. Like, you'll listen to it once, or you'll listen to it a few times, and then you'll just be like, record came out. It was pretty good, but it's not something I would consider to be a album of the year. So, yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for Jinjer's new record, Duel. I hope you enjoyed this album review this afternoon. Did the best I could to make it as good as possible. And with that being said, I will see you in my next review.